Do you know who you don't need to be kind to anymore, even if you were raised to be nice to everyone? As you get older, your time, energy, and peace of mind become more valuable, and they're not things you should give away to just anyone. Being kind is a good thing, but sometimes it can turn into something that wears you down. There are people out there who take advantage of your kindness, your patience, and your silence, and the longer you let them in, the more they take. In this video, we're going to talk about 5 types of people you should stop being kind to as you get older. These aren't strangers or people you hardly know. Often, they're the ones closest to you, family members, neighbors, even old friends. But if you're not careful, their behavior can slowly drain your spirit in ways you might not even notice. By the end of this video, you'll understand who to watch out for, why they leave you feeling worn out, and how you can protect your emotional well-being without feeling guilty. Because the later years of your life shouldn't be about fixing others, they should be about protecting the peace you've earned. Let's begin. 1. The constant taker. One clear sign that someone no longer deserves your kindness is when they only reach out when they need something. You probably know the type. When they call, it's never just to say hello or share a laugh. It's to ask for a favor, a ride, a loan, or your time. And it always seems urgent. Think about someone like Gloria, 71, who's always been the person her family turns to. Need a last-minute babysitter? Call Gloria. Need someone to watch the dog during vacation? Gloria will do it. She never says no. But after a while, she started to notice something. When her own birthday came around, the phone didn't ring. When she was sick for a week, no one checked in. Not even a simple message. That's when it hit her. The relationships weren't equal. She was always giving, and the giving never came back. We often feel guilty when we think about stepping back from people like this, especially if they're family. We tell ourselves it's selfish to say no. But here's the truth. If someone only values you when you're useful, they don't really value you at all. You're not a person to them. You're just someone who helps out. And the older you get, the more dangerous that becomes. Your time, your energy, even your physical strength, they're not unlimited anymore. Giving to someone who only takes is like pouring water into a cup with a hole in the bottom. You have every right to say no without having to explain. You can set boundaries. You can protect the quiet and strength you have left for the people who truly care. And if someone leaves your life just because you stop saying yes every time, that tells you everything. You weren't loved. You were just convenient. Don't let kindness become a burden. Don't let generosity become a chain. Because at this stage of life, every moment you give should also fill you up in return. The chronic critic. There's a special kind of tired that comes from spending time with someone who always points out what's wrong with your clothes, your choices, even your past. These people don't yell or raise their voices, but their comments still hurt. It's because they come in little doses, over and over time, it wears you down. Picture someone like Raymond, 82. Every Sunday, he visits his cousin. He brings fresh bread, checks on the house, and tries to stay connected. But every visit, his cousin finds something to criticize. Your hair looks different. Why'd you sell that old chair? You always take things too personally. At first, Raymond laughed it off, told himself it was harmless. But after years of visits like that, he started feeling small. He began doubting himself. The joy he once felt going to that house started to fade. The problem with constant criticism isn't just the words. It's how those words slowly chip away at your confidence. These people often pretend they're just being honest or trying to help. But really, they're poking holes in your peace of mind, one little jab at a time. When you don't stop it, a part of you starts to shrink. You stop sharing things. You stop trying new things. You start walking into conversations, wondering what they'll pick on next. At your age, you've earned the right to feel comfortable with who you are. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to explain why you like what you like. And you certainly don't need to keep people close who always leave you feeling small, wrong, or broken. Being kind doesn't mean allowing yourself to be quietly hurt. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself is step away and say, I'm done letting you rewrite my story in your voice. The guilt tripper. Some people are really good at making you feel like you're the bad guy, even when you're not. They don't yell or argue, they just give you a look or say a few quiet words that make you start second-guessing yourself. Suddenly you're wondering if you've done enough or if you're being selfish. These are the guilt trippers, and they can really wear you out, especially as you get older. Take Margaret, 79. She lives alone and tries her best to stay in touch with her family. Her niece only calls when she needs something, and when Margaret says no, even kindly, she gets silence in return, or comments like, "I just thought family would be there for me." Margaret isn't saying no to be mean. She's tired. She's trying to take care of herself, but guilt still sneaks in and makes her wonder if she's doing something wrong. What makes guilt trippers so hard to deal with is that they use your best qualities against you. Your loyalty, your kindness, your sense of responsibility. They make you feel like setting a boundary is the same as hurting them. And over time, their behavior becomes a pattern you don't even notice, until you're always apologizing, always explaining, always doing more than you want to, just to keep the peace. But here's the truth. You don't owe anyone your peace. You don't have to explain every no. You don't have to trade your comfort for someone else's approval. If someone only treats you well when you're bending over backwards, that's not love. It's control. You're not here to carry everyone else's emotional baggage. Your heart isn't a doormat. Guilt should never be the cost of taking care of yourself. So next time someone tries to make you feel guilty for setting a boundary, take it as a sign not to give in, but to take another step back. Peace isn't something you ask for. It's something you protect. 4. The secret competitor. Not every threat shows up looking like one. Some people smile at you, say nice things, even pretend to support you, but deep down, they don't want you to shine too bright. These are the secret competitors, people who don't just want to succeed, they want to make sure you don't get ahead of them. You might know someone like Helen, 76. After years of putting it off, she joined an art class to enjoy painting again. She felt proud of herself for stepping out and doing something for her. Her friend Judy joined too, saying she wanted to support her. But week after week, Judy would make little comments like, "Your piece is interesting, very bold for your age," or "I love how carefree yours looks. I guess technique isn't everything." On the surface, it sounded friendly, but it slowly chipped away at Helen's confidence until she began to wonder if she belonged there at all. Secret competitors don't attack you directly. They use comparisons in quiet, sneaky ways. They always seem to have a better story, a more exciting trip, or more praise from someone you both know. And when you're around them, you don't feel celebrated. You feel judged or just tolerated. The danger isn't just what they say, it's what their presence makes you do. You stop sharing your joys. You start second-guessing your own progress. You begin to shrink just so they can shine. But you've lived too much, loved too much, and survived too much to waste time competing with anyone. If someone can't celebrate your wins or only claps when they've outdone you, step away. You deserve people who feel like a warm fire, not a cold scoreboard. Real friends cheer you on, not tear you down. The passive-aggressive manipulator. Some folks don't raise their voice or start a fight. Instead, they hide their hurtful words and jokes, silence, or backhanded compliments. These are passive-aggressive manipulators, and they can be especially hard to spot, but they wear you down all the same. Think of Harold, 83, who's lived in the same neighborhood for decades. His neighbor Doug always waves and smiles, but when Harold asks for help moving a heavy planter, Doug says things like, "Guess you're finally slowing down, huh?" Or, "I'd help, but I want to keep these knees working." It sounds like a joke, but Harold is left wondering if he was just brushed off or insulted. Passive-aggressive people don't usually say what they mean. They leave messages unanswered. They cancel plans without reason. And if you try to talk about it, they act like you're the problem. Too sensitive or too dramatic. Over time, this makes you feel like you have to walk on eggshells. You stop speaking up. You tell yourself it's not worth the hassle. But it is, because the longer you stay in that kind of relationship, the more you silence yourself just to keep a peace that was never real. At this stage in life, peace isn't a luxury, it's a must, and anyone who messes with it through emotional games doesn't deserve a seat in your life. You don't have to respond to every jab. You don't have to fix anyone. Just step back, create some distance, and take back the quiet they keep disturbing. A smile without honesty is just a mask, and you've lived long enough to stop accepting fake kindness. Fill these later years with people who mean what they say and say what they mean. You deserve that. Final thoughts. Now that you've heard about these 5 kinds of people, take a moment to ask yourself, are any of them sitting too close in your life? Are you giving your time, your patience, your energy to people who only take, criticize, guilt, compete, or manipulate? As we age, our peace becomes more valuable. You've carried others. You've forgiven more than you needed to. You've stayed quiet to avoid arguments, but you don't have to keep doing that. Not anymore. These years aren't about putting up with toxic people. They're about removing them. You have the right to protect your space. You get to decide who has access to your time, your heart, your home, and your phone. Being kind doesn't mean being available to those who drain you. It means showing compassion, but with boundaries, warmth with wisdom. And if that means walking away from someone you've known a long time, so be it. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is be kind to yourself and say, enough. If today's message spoke to you, don't brush it aside. Reflect on it. Write it down. Start being more careful with who you give yourself to. These later years aren't just for surviving. They're for healing, growing, and spending time with people who truly see you. And that starts by letting go of those who never did.